I'm going to take you through the ECCIMIS functionality. Well, I am pretty sure all of you have heard and used ECCIMIS, and most of you already have accounts in ECCIMIS. So that means this training is not to people that plan to use the system, but rather to those that have already used or interfaced with ECCIMIS. So in other words, it's going to be much simpler and more interactive. Before I dive into the ECCIMIS, allow me to say one or two things about ECCIMIS. Most of you are aware that ECCIMIS is a web-based system. Web-based here, I mean it is a system that can be accessed anywhere, anytime. You can access it from your chambers, from your home, and file at any convenience and at your own comfort. It is also a role-based system, meaning every role that a user performs in ECCIMIS is well stipulated and it is designed for that particular user. For example, as advocates, you are only going to perform the role that you are destined or stipulated to perform. And likewise, a court staff, a registrar, any judicial officer is going to perform the role that they are supposed to perform in the case life cycle. So we are not going to have any interchanging or anything that is not designed for that particular user. So without wasting time, we are going to get into ECCIMIS. So in order to access ECCIMIS, you should have a URL, what in common terms I would call an address. Many of you have called through the ECCIMIS help desk asking for the URL. Some are in different URLs. And this that I'm highlighting is what we call a URL. Right here, when you get into the URL, what do you see? We have two URLs at the moment. The one that is for production is where, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to file your actual cases. And then we have ECCIMIS 1 that is for training. Just like you see, what I'm highlighting here is ECCIMIS 1. So when you select ECCIMIS 1, it will pop up a message, welcome to training environment of electronic court case management information system. Do you want to stay in ECCIMIS training environment? When you say yes, it is going to leave you in this environment, meaning you are training or testing or perfecting your skills of ECCIMIS, because training is a continuous process. You are not just going to get into ECCIMIS and want to file right away. You have to be perfect. And this environment has been left open for you, ladies and gentlemen, to perfect your skills and to ensure that you're very good at ECCIMIS and you don't get any hurdle when you move to the production environment. So kindly take note of this. When you get to this and you say yes, you are going to the training environment. And the address for the training environment is ECCIMIS1.judiciary.ug.go.ug. And the actual address for ECCIMIS doesn't have a 1. When you go to the actual, it means you are making an actual filing. You're filing your case to court and it's actually going to be heard. But just in case you want to do practice, you get to ECCIMIS 1. I hope that is clear. So for purposes of this training, allow me to take you to the production environment, much as it's training, simply because I want to show you a few functionalities where some of your concerns have been addressed, just like some of the concerns indicated by Her Excellency, the President, have been addressed in this. So when you go to the home page, this is what happens. After putting your address, you are going to get a home page, a login page that says, welcome to ECCIMIS. And just like any other system, you have a username and a password. You should have credentials in order to access ECCIMIS. So if you have credentials, you will put in your username and your password. So for the benefit of those that have not yet created accounts in ECCIMIS, we are going to register and create an account together so that we see how to move forward. Because we've received a couple of calls from members of the Law Society requesting for guidance on the registration. Here we are going to do this together. So when you get here, you click on the registration button. And when you click on the registration button, a form will be shown to you. And in this form, you are filling in information to create your account. So we are going to do this together. We shall say our first name maybe is ULS. Our last name, maybe we can say is Shine. Our date of birth, this is an individual. So you click on the year and then you go back to select. Let's assume Shine ULS was born on the 3rd of February, 1993, and she is a female. Kindly note that all fields that have the red asterisk, that have the red stars, are mandatory. In other words, all that information is required of you. You must fill it. It is only that is not having the red asterisk that you can proceed without filling. So you have to put your email address, because ECCIMIS comes along with notifications. We are going to notify you at every stage of your case. So when you give us your email address and your phone number, you will get various notifications through SMS, through email, through the system as well. So we are going to put our email address here. Say my email address is shineflav, and then we are going to put our phone number. Say if that is the phone number. So as advocates, we are not going to check this box of daily, neither are we going to check the box of auction user. We shall see how to identify ourselves as advocates when we get into the system. A couple of you were calling in asking, how come we don't have our checkbox on the registration page? Yes, you are still going to create an account as a user. However, when you get into the system, there is a way you are going to be identified as an advocate. So we are going to create a username, our preferred username, say Shine ULS, and then our preferred password. We repeat our password right here. And then you select a security question, just in case you forget your password. And then you accept the terms and conditions. So when you accept the terms and conditions, you click create. So when you click on the create button, you're supposed to go to your email and then you check for the activation. Apparently, I have already received the SMS and I'm waiting for the email. I have received the message telling me, welcome to electronic court case management information system. Your account has been created. Kindly go ahead and activate. So we are now going to our email so that we can activate. And we shall be able to log in as soon as we activate. So during this time, at times it takes about 2 minutes to 5 minutes for the email to come through so that you're able to activate. So you keep checking the email address. Just in case it is sent. So let me go ahead and check my email. Members, I am just checking through to get logging into my email address. Yes, it has come. Let me share. Let me share my screen that has the email. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we can see the email that we have received. It says, "Dear ULS, ULS is my first name. Welcome to ECCIMIS. Your username is Shine ULS. To activate your account, please click on the button below." So I am going to click on this button. And the moment I click on that button, it redirects me to the login page. Members, it takes a few seconds to activate. So just a little patience so that we can be active and log into the system. You will still get a notification that your account has been activated. Two seconds as we are trying, the activation link is synchronizing so that we are able to log in. Members, it has shown that I have been activated. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and then we go and log in because I have received an SMS that my account has been activated. So let me unshare this. So here we are. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you can see my screen with the logon page of ECCIMIS. So we are now going to log in to ECCIMIS. Logging in means you have registered an account and received a notification through SMS if you put your number, and then through email and through the system. So we are going to log in and our username was Shine ULS. And then you put in your password and then you click login. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the first screen you see when you log into ECCIMIS. On the left, you have a left navigation pane that has my workspace. Under my workspace, you have my cases. Of course, this being a new account, this is all that you're going to see. But after having cases related to you, then you'll have all the cases that you have handled appear here under my cases. Then we also have payments. In ECCIMIS, we have an online payment functionality, implying we are going to pay online right from the system. Then we also have the useful links, which is a one-stop center for knowledge. For instance, you want something from Yuli, you want something from LexisNexis, you want something from JLOS. It is all found there. Then we also have a tab for documents, which you can access documents that are within the system right from there, but only the documents that you have uploaded. So on the top right, we have a purple pane, which has your username. We can see ULS Shine here as the username. And then you click there if you want to check your profile to change your password or log out. The next, besides the username, is the calendar. We have a functionality of calendaring where we have been having our manual diaries. For instance, you as an advocate, you are going to input your activities, your forthcoming activities in this calendar. Say you're having a hearing coming through on the 2nd of April. You will come and feed it here. And on the 2nd, you will just see it popping up right there. Then we have a bell-like icon, which is for notifications. We have already received 3 notifications from our newly created user account, which is for user registration. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be receiving very many notifications regarding your hearings. You are not going to come to court this time to ask when your case is coming through. You're going to be notified through your system account. You're going to be notified through your phone number, through SMS. You're going to be notified by email. You're going to receive very many emails as well. Then we also have these 3 dots at the extreme right, which are user manual, online help, and any information about the system. Ladies and gentlemen, currently the user manual is not yet uploaded there, but very soon it's going to be uploaded there. Right after that, we have this white space, but allow me proceed. We shall talk about the white space when we already create a case, because it will give us a whole picture of how to explain the cards and the states and how everything occurs in ECCIMIS. One key issue I wanted to note at this point before we proceed is, currently I have logged in. I may not see any case simply because I have not been related to that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, your cases that were in CAS were adequately migrated into ECCIMIS. They are already in ECCIMIS, but all that is required is for you to get linked or related to those cases so that you're able to see them in your profile, so that you're able to file applications, you're able to file interim orders, just like the president mentioned. You're able to file any miscellaneous applications that arise from those mother files. So those files are there. All that is required of you, ladies and gentlemen, is to get to the court nearby where you filed the original suit, and then you get attached to that case so that you're able to perform any action on that matter. And secondly, you can also, if you are unable to go to a nearby court, if you're unable to go to the court where you filed the matter, you can as well call the ECCIMIS help desk on a toll-free number that will be shared with you right after the training. You call, and as you call, you should avail the case number, the parties, just for a security check. You should be able to tell us the parties of that case and then the right case number. And when the help desk team identify that, yes, this advocate is actually the one handling the matter, they will be able to relate you to that case. And in seconds, ladies and gentlemen, you will be able to view all the matters that you are handling, and you'll be able to file the applications or interim orders in that matter that you want to file. So after getting here, now we are going to file a new case. We have, when you go to the top right, we have 2 yellow buttons. We have find case with security code. That is for a defendant. If a defendant has been served, the summons will have a security code, and that is what the defendant will input after clicking here. That is, there is case number and then the ECCIMIS security code. The summons that you're served with will have the case number, and that's what you'll put here. And they'll also have a security code that you will type here and click on the search button, and your case will be open, and then you'll proceed with the actions thereafter. But for this case, we are going to file a new case because we have not yet been served. So in order to file a new case, we are going to e-file a new case. So when we are filing a new case, this is the page, the form that is displayed to you to fill in information. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same information that you have been filling in manually. The only difference is now you are doing this on the system. You're doing it in the comfort of your chambers. You're doing it anytime, at midnight, anytime. We no longer have barriers. ECCIMIS has come to save us from some of those barriers. So here we are, the court level. Let's select High Court for purposes of this training. Maybe we can say Kampala. And since I'm not yet linked to any case, I am going to file a suit, a civil suit, and not an application. So we can select civil division and maybe select a civil suit. So the instance level, some of those fields that are grayed out imply that they are not your role. Just like I mentioned at the beginning, ECCIMIS is role-based. If anything is not supposed to be performed by you, you will not be able to perform it. So we are going to include the subject matter. So for purposes of this training and this presentation, let me just put any amount. And our subject matter, maybe I can say rent areas. And then our ground of claim. Just like I said, anything that has a red asterisk, this is what I mean by a red asterisk. Anything that has this is mandatory and it must be fed into the system. So after putting your ground of claim, just like any other case, like you have been doing, we are going to add parties to our case. So this is where we come to add parties to our case. We click on the word add. If your clients are maybe one of your clients has ever created an account in ECCIMIS, you simply come here and then you search. You search them and then you add. But for this, let us create new so that we go through the process of creating a party. So we are going to create an individual who is our plaintiff. So we shall say ULS plaintiff. This is just for training. So our first name is ULS. Our second name is maybe test. And then we have the provision of date of birth or age range. If you don't know the date of birth, you can select the age range. So we have created, given the basic information. There was an issue of NIN. As we see, it is not mandatory, but it is good to have it there. And then we are going to integrate with all these other institutions, the government institutions like NIRA. And so some of this information will automatically be populated as time goes on. So we have created this account and I am going to click on save. So after saving, I want this account to keep receiving the emails that I just received. I want them to receive the SMSs that I received while creating this account. So I am going to relate this party to the account of ULS Shine that I created. And this is how we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I have left some of these, the gender, the status, the disabilities, and so on, but it is good you fill them. But for purposes of this training, I have just left them simply because they are not mandatory. So there is address, there is employment information, and so on. But for this, let me click related user. So I want to relate this user that we have saved here, who is ULS test, to the account that we created. So we are going to do that again. And we shall say ULS and then the user will appear. So when I click on select here, it is going to activate this add button. And then we click on it. And it is going to appear here under related user. So ladies and gentlemen, the moment you click on that and then you click and save, all the information regarding the first party, regarding the plaintiff, any information regarding that case will be received through this account. So we are saying ULS test, you have to specify the party role, and our ULS test is our plaintiff. So we check the box of plaintiff, which will activate this add button, and then we shall have our party right there. So we now have a plaintiff here whose name is ULS test and is active, but in a draft state. They will be validated by a judicial officer while the case comes to court. So we are going to add a second party. Maybe for the second party, we can search one that is already in the system. We can select this as our defendant, first defendant, and then we click on add. So you will notice that when you add a party who is already in the system, someone who already has an account in the system, who has ever appeared in the system or in court, they will automatically get to a validated state. But for someone that has never, will remain in a draft state. So we are going to proceed down. We have other participants or representatives. These are assessors, victims. If the case has maybe assessors, if it has all those others, then you add them here. But if it doesn't, then we proceed to advocates. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where you create your account as an advocate, and then you attach yourself to the party that you are representing. If you're representing the plaintiff, you attach yourself to the plaintiff. If you're representing the defendant, you relate yourself to the defendant. How that is done is right here, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to create ourselves as an advocate, and maybe the advocate name is Joel. So we can say Joel testing, because we are testing this, and Joel is edged between that. And then you put in your other information, the permit number, the NIN, the passport number, the gender, etc. And then you click on save. So when you save, you are going to come and relate yourself. Relate yourself to the person that you're representing. So we have ULS Shine. So we are going to relate ourselves to this account, implying we are representing that party. So when we save and close, So when we save and close, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see your name appear here after creating. This is the advocate that we created. So an advocate represents a participant. It represents either a plaintiff or the first defendant or the defendant. So for this case, we are going to say our advocate is representing the plaintiff. When you select the plaintiff, you will check that box and then you add. So this shows that our advocate is called Joel, and he's representing the plaintiff who is called ULS. And he is in an active state. Yes, you will see a state here as draft. This will be validated when they come at hearing, when they present their practicing certificate. I know that is an area of interest. We shall see how and where we go to upload that. So ladies and gentlemen, after putting all that information, if there are any related cases, if we are filing a matter that arises from something, we are going to see that arises from another matter. We will see the main matters here or the original cases or related cases to that matter right here. So since this is a fresh suit, we are going to go up and save and close. So we are going to click on save and close. And then our information will be saved. So just like it is, after saving and closing, after putting the basic information regarding the parties, the basic information regarding your matter, we proceed to filing a plaint or a pleading. You go and fill in your pleading. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to go to the pleadings card. Just a second. Let me just uncheck something. Apologies. Let me just uncheck something. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we followed up to that point. Maybe we can have some 1 minute to internalize what we have so far done. Okay, our screen is back. Yes, we have saved the basic information, the general basic information that is pertaining that case, which comes here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed to filing my pleading, to attaching my pleading, I had mentioned that we have cards, and you can only access the cards after creating a case. And that's why I reserved this explanation for this point. Now, when you come up here, we see our case number that is still in a draft state. It is in a draft state because it has not yet been registered. You have not yet filed a pleading or attached a pleading. You have not yet paid. You have not yet submitted it to court. So of course, there is no way it can get registered. We shall see how we can see how this changes from a draft state to an actual. We can, just below that, we also have a state, the state in which your matter is, which is draft. And then we have a last modified date, and then the person that modified it. You can check into your case and see who last modified it. If it is not you that modified, then you may wonder, or you may need to ask and check who you gave your account details to. So right towards the right, we have two buttons. We have the back button, if you want to go back to where you previously were. And then we also have the yellow button that is action. So when you click on that, it says submit case for registration. That is an action that you can perform only if your case is complete. Just like previously, you would compile your file, craft everything, and when it's ready, you bring it to court. This action button is that action of bringing your case to court. So when you click on it and submit case for registration, it means you are now sending the case from your docket to court so that court can receive it. Then right below, we have this yellow circle, which we call in ECCIMIS, we call a subway map. In other words, it's a progress bar for showing the progress of your case. As a case transitions from draft to maybe final decision to taxation or execution, you will notice, you will notice the yellow line, the bar progressing. We are going to see how that progresses as we perform some actions. Below that, we have the general information, which is the information we have just been filling. Just like you see submission date, the court where you have filed, the main party, the subject matter, etc. The information pertaining that particular case. Then below that, we have what we call cards. In ECCIMIS, we call them cards. This is information pertaining a case. We have pleadings. Any case has a pleading, and this is the pleadings card. That is where you're supposed to file it. Any case that has payments, the payments should be made in the court fees or payments card. Notices, we also have a card for notices. This is where the notices will be uploaded and issued. We also have a card for affidavits. This is where the process servers will be able to upload and attach their affidavits. We have a summons card right here. This is where the summons will be uploaded and issued from. We have court sittings card. This is where the court sittings will be created and managed from. We have a card for warrants. We have orders. We have judgment stroke ruling. We have agreements and reports. We have decrees. We have very many cards. We have miscellaneous applications. Ladies and gentlemen, after you have been attached to your original matter, that is an issue that has been going through for the past 1 week. Calls have been coming in asking where to file the applications from. After you have been related to your matter, you'll be able to view the original file in your portfolio. And when you click it, you will come to this card that is miscellaneous applications stroke revisions card. And right there is where you will be able to create the application. One interesting thing that ECCIMIS has come with is a module of complaints. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to file a complaint related to your matter. If your matter, if there's an issue that you feel you're uncomfortable with relating to your case, then you will go to the complaints card and file a complaint. We also have the last card that is all documents attached to the case. This is an integrated card having all the documents that you have filed or attached or uploaded in the ECCIMIS on a particular case, all in that card. So after we have put the general information and we have known and understood our cards, the first card that we are supposed to go to is the pleadings. So I am going to click on the pleadings card and create a pleading. So after opening the pleadings card, I will go to the create button. And after creating, we shall have that. And then you select the type of pleading that you want. For this case, we shall select a plaint, and then we say, okay. So you will have to specify who is filing the plaint. So we shall say that, remember, a plaint is filed by the plaintiff, but this time our plaintiff has an advocate. Now it is, the system is giving us two options. Who is filing? You have to indicate, is it the advocate or the plaintiff? If it's the advocate, then you will say it is Joel Testing, because that was the name of our advocate. If it is the plaintiff, then you will indicate the plaintiff. So the filing date is right there, which is system generated. And then we shall have our defendant. If there are 2 or 10 defendants, all of them will appear there and you will select them. So we have the grounds of claim that you will put there. For testing purposes, I am putting that. Then we also have summary of our evidence that you'll put there. So we are assuming that you have typed your plaints, or you have printed it somewhere and then scanned it, and now we are going to attach our plaint to ECCIMIS. So while attaching the plaint, you come to this yellow button that says add, you click on it. When you click on it, it is going to return a form that says title. In other words, we are now attaching a plaint. So the title of our plaint is, say, ULS plaint. And then the document type is plaint. And then you can put the keywords in the plaint. And then you scroll and attach the plaint. So we are going to look for a plaint. We are assuming we saved it here and it's right there. So we add our plaint, and right here is our plaint. So just in case you have attached or uploaded it and you realize this wasn't the document or the plaint that I was supposed to attach, there's this that says, this that I'm clicking on, a bin-like icon that says remove. So you click on it, remove, and then you attach the actual plaint that you want to attach. So after that, we come and save and close. So when we save and close our plaint, you're going to see that our plaint has remained in draft. Just like I said, in any action you perform in ECCIMIS, you should take note of your status bar, your transition or progress bar, because it should be progressing. So after it is in draft, we are going to submit our plaint for validation. But remember, we have not yet paid. So we are going to pay for our plaint. Ladies and gentlemen, I am moving slowly because there are some that have not yet done this. I know a couple of you have already filed through ECCIMIS, you've already interfaced with ECCIMIS, but for the benefit of those that have not yet, maybe we move slow so that we have more filings through ECCIMIS next week. So we come to court fees, payments, where we are going to pay. So we are going to create a new payment for our plaints. So a form will appear, and then you select the service you're paying for. We can say we are paying court fees. And then it's on filing a plaint. And then the document, the plaint that you already uploaded should be here. And it is here, you select it. And when you select the plaint, the amount, the assessment of court fees is done by ECCIMIS, is done by the system automatically. And this is something that is done in by URA. In other words, it's something that is system generated. You're not going to say you've assessed me highly, because it is not a person that is assessing you from this side. It is the system. So you see the amount that is supposed to be paid is right there. And then the party information. So who is paying? The party is the plaintiff. So there is this checkbox that comes right after selecting the party. It is showing whether the party is the same as the payer. Is it the party that is paying? If I check it, all the information down will be populated. So I will check it so that I don't have to fill that information again. So after that information is filled, I will come and save. I am now saving my payment. So after saving your payment, you will see that your payment is in draft right here. Our subway map is showing that our payment is in draft, but we don't want our payment to be in draft. We actually want to go ahead and pay. So we shall come to generate.
Yes, Flavia.
Yes.
We would choose a lower subject value so that the payment is little. I would pay, then you would check, other than paying 149.
Okay. Okay. So, members, we are going to go back to our pleading. We are going to change our subject matter value to a lower figure so that we actually pay. Let's say our subject matter value is 50,000. This is just for purposes of training. We are going to save that. And after saving, we are now going to generate a payment for this new plaint. So this yellow square that you see here is a shortcut to the other cards that I mentioned. When you come here, you access all the cards that I had talked about earlier on. So we go to the court fees. We are selecting court fees. And then the document we are paying for is that plaint. So it has showed us the amount to be paid. And then just like I said, you select the party that is paying, and then all the information will be, I think you can see the payer information has been displayed here, the first name, the last name, and so on. So we click save. After clicking save, we are going to generate a PRN for this payment. We all know what a PRN is, a unique identifier of any payment that goes to URA. So our PRN has been generated. So after our PRN has been generated, let's a few seconds as it generates that. Now, this generation is not, you may wonder where it's generating from and why it takes a few seconds. It is because this generation is done in the URA system. So from at this point in time, ECCIMIS is communicating to the URA system so that this payment the token or the PRN is generated from the system and fed into ECCIMIS. That's why it's taking a few seconds, which is understandable. Just a second as I cross-check this. Let me just cross-check this, ladies and gentlemen. Our PRN has been generated. So what happens? You click on the export in order to view your PRN, or the PRN number is displayed there. So I am assuming that I want to send this payment form to someone to go and pay. So let me share the screen of the exported form from ECCIMIS. Here we are. Our PRN is right there that I've highlighted.
The reason being, the executors, they could have said no. And no. That's what they said no.
So that's our PRN number.
Yes, I've got it. Let me pay.
Okay. So it's going to pay, and let us take note of the amount. The amount to be paid is there. And then we also take note of the status. So we've selected our payment status here is pending. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing that I have selected that. You're seeing the payment status here is still pending, implying we have not yet paid. But the moment we pay, the status should automatically change to paid. And then the amount that has been paid here will also indicate the amount that has been paid. And thereafter, when it is paid, you will save your information. After saving, that is after you have paid in whatever modes that are available, as you've indicated, as you have seen. There is online and there is offline. Offline implying what I showed you, you extract or export the receipt, and then you take it to the bank, and then you come and attach a receipt. The way I was doing, you attach a receipt, and then you upload it into the system. There is also the online mode that you use, maybe your Visa card, and then you pay. So after all that is done and your status has changed to paid, you come to actions, and then you submit, you send for the payment. So you send your case for payment confirmation. In other words, you have already paid, but you're sending it to be confirmed by court. At that point, it means you're done with the payment. By the time you send it to court for confirmation, that implies that you have actually paid, and court is going to receive but confirm if you have paid. Your role is just to pay, and court will confirm. And if it confirms, then it will be submitted to the relevant authorities or judicial officer for registration. So at that point, we are going to come to our case overview, our case right there, because we have submitted our case. We have created our pleading. We have filled in the information regarding the general or basic information regarding our case, our parties, our subject matter, and then the plaint. And then we have also gone ahead to pay. So at this point in time, all the relevant or required information regarding a case has been filled and it is ready. So what we are supposed to do is to now forward the case to court for registration. We are going to forward the case to court for registration. But before we forward the case, allow me show you one card that may be of interest to you. We have a card of other documents where you will be able to attach. This is the card where you are supposed to attach your practicing certificates. So when you click on that, you will click on the create button, and then you click the document type. The type of document that you want to upload to ECCIMIS is a certificate. Then the title, maybe we can say, since the advocate was called Joel, we shall say Joel's PC, Joel's practicing certificate, that has been filed on this day. The system will pick the actual time and date when you file. And then you will select, has it been submitted during a sitting? Because there are times you bring your certificates on the first hearing. So if it's submitted during a sitting, you check this and then you refer to that sitting, what sitting it was. But for this case, this field is grayed out simply because we have not yet created a sitting in this case. Otherwise, all the sittings that if they were created, all the sittings in that case would be displayed here. So since we don't have a sitting at the moment, we are going to uncheck this button and simply go ahead to attach our PC. So our title is Joel's PC, Joel's practicing certificate, and it is a certificate. Maybe I can say it's valid as the keyword, the note, my certificate is valid. And then you attach a soft copy of your certificate. Maybe this is my practicing certificate. Then I click on add. So you'll see your practicing certificate uploaded onto ECCIMIS, and then you come and save. So upon saving, you'll be rest assured that your practicing certificate is going to be received by the judicial officer that is handling your matter. In other words, at sitting, it will be available. But before that, before you submit, it is still going to be in a draft state. So you come to actions and then you click submit for validation. In other words, you're submitting your certificate to court to confirm its validity. So I have submitted and you see it is showing pending validation. So my case has my practicing certificate, it has my plaint, it has my payment, it has all the parties and all the necessary basic information relating to a case. So right at this point, I am going to actions because my case at this point is still in draft. In other words, it's still in my portfolio. I haven't sent it to court. It is just within my account as ULS Shine. So I am going to go to actions and then I submit my case to court. So when I submit my case, I will put a message, please receive my case for registration. And then we shall see our subway map here changing from draft to case submitted pending registration. Some of you have been creating cases and leaving them in draft and then calling through saying, my case, I have been told my case is not in court. Yes, it is not in court because you have not performed that action of submission. If you want your case to be received in court, it must be submitted. So at this point, your case must be in this point, and then immediately you click on the submit, you will receive a message that your case has been submitted. Not registered, but submitted. So the rest from here, the case, after the case being received, the other process is a court process. Ladies and gentlemen, just like I told you, ECCIMIS is role-based. You are supposed to perform what is your role, what is within your mandate. So as advocates, this is where our role stops. Our role stops at creating this and submitting. However, upon receipt of your matter, you will get notified when the registrar or the magistrate in charge receives your matter and confirms it and then registers it. You're going to be notified. You're going to receive a notification through email or SMS, and you will be told that your matter has been registered. And now your new case number will shift from draft to the actual case number, and it will be sent to you through the various notification channels that I have mentioned. On the other hand, we also have advocates also participate in the case process through the hearing process, the court sittings. When a judicial officer handling the matter creates a sitting, you will be notified. You are going to be notified accordingly, and then you are going to be notified about the court sitting, when it is taking place, what time it is taking place, and where it is taking place. Also, to add on that, if any action is performed on your matter, for instance, if there is anything that is required, if you filed something that is not adequate, your case will be reverted, and you will still get notified that your case has been reverted on grounds of XYZ, and so that you can act accordingly. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is what ECCIMIS has. That is what ECCIMIS has to do with the role of the advocates. Thank you so much for listening.